Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hello, everybody. It's Tom Foster in the World of Marketing. I'm still working on the theme song. It's coming. Don't worry, I promise. And here I am with my buddy, so many things. My pal, my buddy, my body, I also consider my personal bodyguard. Also kind of like a son in a way. Also that I have that kind of feeling for you. My good buddy, fellow coach, Matt Tate.
Hello.
Welcome, Matthew, to the podcast.
Thank you, Tom.
As a guest on the World of Marketing, even though you and I are pretty much together most of the hours of the day anyway. So we just jumped from one call to this to talk about coaching.
Very good.
You're the man. You're the coaching man.
That I am. Coach Tate. That's what they call
Coach
me.
Tate.
Coach Tate. I'm very demanding, though. Very demanding.
So we have been doing coaching for our clients for what we call our do-it-yourself clients that don't choose to go down either because they want to do it themselves, they have staff, or for budget reasons, they got to do it themselves, which I understand that. We all start there. And then we've got 80 or so more that are in services, and we take care of the rest that want to work with us. Does that sum it up?
That's about right.
And we run through the marketing growth plan. And if you can you get it? Because maybe we can pull it up and show it.
Yeah.
And also, like, I should have been better prepared, but you know how I am.
We don't have Connie here to send us.
We don't have Connie here too, because she's part of the team too, guys and gals. Is that you get the lovely Connie Gray, that is always ever attentive on the calls with Matt and I, and who records everything and keeps great notes and sends those notes after each call. But basically, that's what I wanted to do on this quick little podcast, is talk about what coaching is and how we do it here at Foster Web Marketing. And because our goal is to help and to help you achieve your goals, help you achieve the success that you want to achieve. And so we've got this. There's a totally bizarre noise outside. I have no idea what it is.
Is it the aliens you've been talking about that are?
Could be.
I can hear.
Except I think aliens would be much quieter. This sounds like medieval, and like I don't think that you're going to hear an alien come. But this sounds like, I think it's one of those grass irrigators on that's what I'm thinking it is.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's distracting. But back to our thing. So we help our clients go through the marketing growth plan, and we continue to refine this and make this better and better. But we are really excited because we've helped so many people and elevated them. Like, think about Ed Littlejohn, right? He's one of our top students.
Brought him in back in 2018 after a GLM summit, by the way.
That's right. And so, like, here's a little excerpt from a coaching call with Ed Littlejohn.
All right, sounds good.
How are things going?
Things are going good. Things are going good. We've been pretty busy. We made some adjustments on the website, and then also adjustments on our intake process, so that we can, I feel like better serve the clients. We get rid of all our free telephone consultations, and then we've been trying to do some little bit more online marketing, sending out a weekly email, and then I'm still thinking about a budget so that we can possibly have you guys do some more marketing for us.
Okay, so tell me about the weekly email that's going out. Okay, now we're back from that. So another one that has been really good is our guy Kevin McManus.
Another 2018 GLM, who I brought in, by the way.
That's right. Kevin is another fantastic client, and brilliant. And, he's doing all kinds of great things, but every month we meet with him, right?
He's the best overachiever I've ever seen.
Right.
You don't want to compete with that guy for anything.
No.
You give him a task, it's done to like the 10th power within like an hour.
I think and that's a great message to those of you that complain about doing content. This guy does 30 pieces a month?
30 pieces a month, and he's a city councilman
and plus,
with a wife and kids, and
beats him. Yeah, he's got a wife and young kids, and he's also a congressman.
He's city council,
or a councilman.
Yeah.
And he's a very busy, active guy, and but yet he's able to do that because he knows it's important, and it has benefited him. He's gotten tons of great cases for perfect clients that he's been looking for. And let me give you guys a little taste of what he has to say.
Or whatever, and that has, I think, totally gone away. The rankings have rebounded and showing up more in local search. Signed up a very big long-term disability case last night at 11 o'clock at night. A guy downloaded the book and just he was pre-sold. It was like did it all through e-signature, never met him, but it's $1 million case that is solely coming through the website.
How did he do a search? What did he search for?
He was Googling very, I asked him that question, and it was interesting. He started with very specific terms about ERISA disability. He wanted someone local. He wanted someone in Kansas City. He didn't want somebody, no offense, in Virginia, he wanted to be able to, even though we haven't met, he wanted to be able to have that opportunity. Sure. And then he started reading about me and liked my high school and stuff like that, like your involvement in the community, and all that stuff. And then, realized he might know somebody who I knew. And
all right, there you go. Kevin McManus. That is good stuff. But, we've got all kinds of different people on this program, and we take them through the marketing growth plan. Can we show them?
Yep.
Show your screen.
Really make it large first. Probably be helpful.
So the marketing growth plan is available to anybody. I think it's fwmgrowthplan.com or something like that, but we'll put it in the link in the description and down here on the bottom third. If you don't have it, it's free. We can get it as a poster that you can put up on your wall, and you can also get this as a PDF and those are links to get more help and more information and more training. And by the way, that's available to anyone, but obviously it works the best for clients with FWM and that are using DSS. That's the point. And we take you on, Matt and I will take you on a journey for the next 12 months. We've mapped it out. Right, Matt? I mean, Matt has put out some homework, and I mean, he's
no, it's a long journey, but I think a lot of it starts with coming on with us and meeting with me and Tom. Something I've always discovered before we start this journey is you really need to know where you want to go. We could go through all this, but you have to understand what you want for your business. The types of cases, the types of clients, the type of business. Being a solo attorney who just wants to maximize their load, this journey is completely different for the guy who says, I don't want to ever touch a case again. I want to manage 4 people and work on marketing. The way we coach you and everything we say and our kind of recommendations are going to be a world difference. So we really need to figure out what your personal business life goals are, and what types of cases you need to achieve that. And before we even start that journey, we got to know where we're heading first.
100%. I'm glad you said that, Matt, because it starts with your goals, what you want to achieve, just like Matt said. And that if we don't know that, then we don't know where we're going. And so we've got to be able to pack right, for the trip and the journey, which is never ending, really. And these are the pieces that we're going to go over, and we're going to go over it in this 12-month period of time. Anybody that comes into Foster Web Marketing has the opportunity to get coaching with Matt and I. Matt's very much more of the strategist from an SEO level. Also for the local, can help. Is going to, and early on, that's what we're going to be pounding on, is like making sure that your local profiles are set up correctly, show you how to utilize the software, the local syncing software and Yext and anything else. Matt's going to go through all of that with you. And then there's going to be a mindset discussion about your perfect client or perfect patient. That we all do together, and always the conversation about lead scoring. You want to know what's working, what isn't. So very early on, we're going to get you in the habit of scoring your leads and paying attention to what leads and really diving into what is bringing them to you, and creating what we call bait for your perfect patients, your perfect clients, your perfect customers. That's all through the content strategy. And in some cases, Matt, people that they really just can't do that. They find that they can't put the time in themselves to do all these things. That's perfectly fine.
There's nothing wrong with that. That does happen a lot. You come in, we say, hey, write 4 pieces of content. I need to do this and you do that. Life gets in the way. Nothing you can really do about that. We can always help supplement things that you maybe find too hard, or something I always say to attorneys is, how much do you charge per hour? Not a lot of personal injury guys or even doctors, it's kind of per patient, but in general, how much do you expect per hour that you work? And so once you start thinking about that, the cost of the content, you're like, hey, I wrote these pieces, but you spent 20 hours during your week writing 4 pieces of content. You just paid a lot of money for that content. So thinking about where your time is best invested as well. And some people start like that, and then once they realize it, they'll kind of move on. Or look, if you were never a great writer or you don't enjoy it, it is hard to all of a sudden discover some magical writing skill. And it's not just writing technical stuff. It's, how is the copy? Do people follow along with it? Can you write at like a 7th or 8th grade level? That's what we kind of tell people to write at. So, you discover different things, budget, time, skill set, which I think anybody is hard to say, you know what, I'm not the best at this. Which I think is huge and is very beneficial when people are self-reflective. You may be better at networking. You may be great at social media. If you're not good at content, but if you can't afford to not do it, then don't do it.
And, that reminds me of, I'm glad you said that. That reminds me of, the training that we just, after many, many trainings, that we just went through again with our content team and our SEO services team with Dave Fries on content creation ideas. We never stop over here learning too, by the way, like we always, and Dave Fries has some fantastic strategies for content creation, but he brought up a good point about the people that write great educational or informative content are not as good as writing, copy, call to action based content. And really with a website, you have to be able to fuse those two things together. And that's what a lot of that practice and that exercise that we were doing was about. And I mean, Matt's right. You either love it and jump on it. Kevin McManus is an example of that. Ed Littlejohn in the beginning. Mike Monteforte, a name that we have not yet brought up, but is one of our, as anyone knows me, I will
Creative
be the
writer.
first to jump and say Michael Monteforte is one of my favorite do-it-yourself. Well, he's just a fantastic guy, great guy, and his Monteforte Law, his website does fantastically, and based on very clever, creative content that is both informative and has amazing calls to action. And just one example that, and I think that we can we can put a clip in here that talk about his Game of Thrones piece. Because I've talked about it so many times, but what he did really, and Matt, but I'm going to tell this for everybody else. The story, you've heard it so many times.
First time I've ever heard it, Tom.
So, well, he's one of your clients,
Yep.
and you brought him in here years ago, back when you did more of sales, before I said I need help over here in coaching and asked you to come over and take this over. He came, he's Boston estate planning attorney. That's not competitive at all.
Nah, it's easy.
Easy. And so like he came here and we're like, come on, or SEO is going to take a little while. So you need to nurture he's got a list. He's used DSS CRM. And we had a list of about 600 people in there, friends, family, past clients when we started. And, sub less than 1,000 views a month to this, maybe, I think it was around probably 600, 500, 800 views. I mean, sessions to this little website. And, but we're sitting here doing a coaching call like this with Michael. And this is when he was by himself and he didn't really have much help, or maybe he had Nicole there, but I don't know if she was doing as much marketing stuff. She was pretty much, because she's been with him for a while.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she was getting into the content yet. I don't think so.
She took it away from him eventually.
Yeah, we'll get there, which is great. By the way. That's the setup here too for a different kind of law firm. But anyway, so we're thinking about what do we do? And it was April, and it was the last season of Game of Thrones, and people are like loving it or hating it. Most people hating it. So we said that would be funny. Why don't you do a blog post about, estate planning advice for Jon Snow? And it was almost tongue in cheek, but we kind of stopped for a minute and say, that's brilliant. And Mike ran off and created this great blog post that you can go check out. We'll put it down in the description and a bunch of other ones that I'm going to recommend. You just check out Michael Monteforte's blog posts because they're some of the best, the way that they're done. Anyway, fantastically clever and interesting and funny blog post with links in that blog post to more informative pages about estate planning. He sent a link to that blog post out to his. So yeah, I'm glad you're doing that because we're combining content strategy with email marketing and offers and whatnot. And so the content is a persuasive pop culture, funny piece of content, clever, infused with, legal terminology, but based on a fictional character, which is different than any other kind of estate planning lawyer, what gets people's attention. So it's a different kind of way of marketing information and education. So we sent this a link to the blog post out with a clever email to his 600 people, and it got like an amazing open rate. I don't know the exact numbers, but I mean, like it's been a long time, so those numbers have changed. But the point is that he got 4 estate plans from that email, 4. And I think they were all in the range of $5,000 to $6,000 in terms of value. So think about that. One, and he's repeated that, not maybe to that success, but with other blog posts like Rick Ocasek, and he just did one for Eddie Van Halen. He's doing one for Sean Connery. If it didn't already come out, I just can't keep up with the man. The reason why is because of who? Nicole, his office manager, assistant, marketing person.
Yeah, she's a little bit of everything over there.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's the one that responsible for that Tiger King blog post and email, which is like I wish I had a trophy case to put these things in. We need to come up with some kind of trophy case for these because they're just fantastic. Okay, real quick, I didn't even really think about that, but like, you guys should take the same approach that you have to your pop culture content, like Tiger King, to like videos. So you could take that entire article, that blog post that you did, or even for Game of Thrones, the one you did there, and like just make a video out of it. And instead of using images, have Nicole insert like video from the show.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, make it, just redo that in a video format for your successful stuff, and start doing for the past, and then start doing video as the lead for content.
Yeah, and two of the last ones we did, like I did kind of a mini, kind of short blurb on what's in one of the blogs to try and kind of said go read our blog for more info type of thing. And so we did that. The Van Halen blog was already up, so we did the video about it afterwards with a little bit of info. We kept it like 2 minutes. I don't know, but did I go a little long? I might have went a little long, but
okay, wasn't that awesome? And so yeah, and anyway, the other thing on here is these offers, and that's a little bit, we're talking about books, going through that, helping do that. By the way, we're always here, Matt and I are always here to answer questions. What is your pain? What help do you need? And sometimes these conversations get into things that have nothing to do with the web, staffing, employee.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard people just vent about staff and work and business and life on these coaching calls. Sometimes you just got to let it out, man.
Yeah. And I mean, like, fine, we're here to help. I mean, like, both Matt and I have lots of business experience. Matt has been involved in multiple businesses that, so just from a staffing perspective, we understand that. We have resources that we can send people to get help, whether it's for hiring. We have a great relationship with Jay Henderson, who I work with for everything. So Jay Henderson.
Intake with people, that's a big thing too. People come through.
What's that?
Intake?
Yeah, intake. Exactly. So we have a relationship with Ruby Receptionists. So I don't know if most of you know who that is. I mean, like, they do answer the phones, and they just have a stellar reputation and do a fantastic job. I know that they work with a lot of our clients. And as a matter of fact, some of our very smart clients, like Steve Richardson, he's a solo guy, but he's got an integration with DSS and Ruby and Clio. That's like, that makes him so efficient for being a one-man band. And so, like, all of these kinds of things that we work with people. So offers, we can help you do those books. Like, here's, let me just do a little plug, Matt. So here's a new one that we just did, right? Our content book, and here's our wow package. And this is the Michael Capuzzi. That's what you see behind this, which is his Shook formula. What Mike Capuzzi is a dear friend of mine, known him for years, brilliant. We built this with him. We can help you build yours too. And then is this our new book, Killer Content Blueprint. So if you want this book, I'll put links in the, Matt will put links in the description, right, on where to get it. Cause you can get it. You can get it for PDF download free from the website, or you can order a copy of it from Amazon. We got links for it. And then I think that we're going to come up with some special offers to get this whole package. But this is like a nice a package. And these are offers. So this makes a difference for people. So we'll show you how this works for clients across the board. One of, you know, in that story from Kevin McManus, talked about how the whole system worked together. Remember that podcast I had of Mark Blaine a couple weeks back? Mark Blaine, who is a fantastic solo personal injury lawyer out in San Diego, who has built his entire firm on this, what we're talking about. He talk about do it yourself.
So he's a solo guy, right?
Yeah, he's done it himself since he's been with me for kind of 10 years.
I think I coached him like 8 years ago.
Yeah. And he's just a guy that has written his own content and created all these offers. And he is a guy that will, yes, this works. I mean, obviously we didn't make this up, you know, this whole system of education-based content with a decisive email marketing strategy where you're adding content, you know, every week and emailing every week and creating great calls to action with the offers. That's the base foundation of everything. That's Dan Kennedy. That's Ben Glass. That's pulling all of this together, everything that we've learned. And of course, you know, if you're not part of Great Legal Marketing, recommend it 100%. I mean, that's where you're going to get a lot of resources. And then we get into the video production stuff. And I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but we have our own green screen studio and our own video crew that we can fly all over the country. Jim Folliard, my good friend and partner with GearShift, is the company that we work with to get all our videos done. And that guy's done commercials for Mike Tyson and you name it. He's the man. He's got the eye.
Award-winning,
yes.
Award-winning video
Don
studio.
Napoleon. Emmy Award winning. And, you know, these are about, but just on, that's for fancy videos, but like we can also teach you how to do these yourself. And we have, and we do. And right now we're doing that. And we have tons of clients that have used video very successfully. Like here's a clip from the Cuttigans when we were talking to the Cuttigans about how they use their video.
Yes. So the pitch I would make is that the guy shoots the videos. I mean, what he does is he runs the teleprompter, okay? What we do is we turn the camera on, turn it off for each YouTube video, but he was running the teleprompter. He's out of the shot. Sean is looking at the teleprompter, and the teleprompter is a product that's that you can put on the iPad.
Yeah. Those are easy.
You use your iPhone to advance the.
But you have to be good at reading from a teleprompter. It took
Sean is the best.
Yeah. Sean, you're really good. There's some that are better. Some of the videos are better than others, I'll say.
Yeah. Yes.
Hopefully I'm just improving, but
it's
Don, the guy that works with us, does a good job of putting things together. And
all right. So you see how effective video can be, right? And so video is a big part of your strategy. Then SEO, we're going to get into that stuff. That is going to be a constant running theme that Matt is, that's kind of his bailiwick. And by the way, you're going to get homework as part of this coaching. We're going to give you a report card, a quarterly report card about progress. We are there to almost be your personal trainer. Look at it like that for your marketing, to be your personal trainer. We're not going to do it for you in coaching, but we're going to tell you what to do. And we're going to give you all the resources that you need. At any time, you can jump to like, I don't want to do this myself. I'm ready to have somebody do it for me, or I'm happy to meet with you guys, but can somebody write the content for me? You know, anything can be customized to your needs. But
One
that
thing,
SEO strategy is all about that SEO tool. Matt, were you going to say something?
yeah, I was going to say about SEO strategy is that's maybe 20%. So many people sell SEO. They think it's marketing. I'll give it credit. I think it was Trent said SEO is 20% of the content is the 80%. SEO is the 20%.
Yeah.
That's just simply massaging, helping Google links.
It's helping Google find your content.
On-page optimization, who you are, what you do, where you do it.
Right.
But if you don't have anything to optimize, there's only so much we can do. And I think a lot of companies and people think SEO is like some magic wizardry. No, it's not. Now, it's helpful that Google constantly changes things and gives me job security, which I'm appreciative of.
Right. Yeah.
But that is it. That is not the main end all be all of it. It is a strategy over time and where you spend your time, whether it's local or content, or you've had a website for 10 years with tons of content. We need to do a content audit and reduce what you have other than add and optimize what you currently have. All of that is a different strategy depending on that kind of where you're at in your marketing or SEO kind of journey or life.
Here, scroll up to the top left where it shows that attract, convert, retain. There you go. Like, show that, because that is what he's talking about. Is that attract, convert, retain is attract is everything that you do to pull people to your website. And so content is the bait. And really SEO is the stuff you spray on the bait to make the content easier to find. And that's really what search engine optimization. It's optimizing content. That's what it means. And so, but you've got to have the content there. And the other part of that is that, sure, you need to make sure that your content comes up for keywords that your perfect clients, patients, customers type in. But then you need to make sure that it converts. So that is making sure that the call to action is appropriate for those pages. So that's where, so kind of at that point, that's part of what you're looking at is SEO. Are these pages optimized correctly? Obviously, coming out of the gate, everything's optimized pretty much as good as it can be, in terms of content. We launch stuff very optimized. The local stuff we'll be working on earlier, but it's the adding of new and making that you guys are doing under these coaching programs, that content needs to be effective and well written to inform, educate, entertain, persuade, whatever the point of it is, but also then to convert them into a lead. That's what it does. It converts them into a lead. And that lead means a phone call, a chat, a contact form, a fill out an offer form, any of those things and more that I'm not thinking of. But that is simply a lead that contacts your office, practice in some form. And Matt said it. Then that's when intake begins and you retain the lead and make them a client or a customer. There's a lot of steps there. And so you could be page one for every known keyword to man and get 20,000 visits a month or sessions a month and still have a terrible business model because you're not closing your leads. And by the way, we hear that. And that happens a lot to law firms, right, Matt?
Yeah, I hear a lot on calls. People say, I'm getting so much traffic, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, but the website's not working. And you're like, well, you're getting all this lead. What's going on? And then you go back and you see, what is the call to action? What kind of secondary information somebody may have, or like the intake thing. I think Buster likes to bring it up all the time. We had a client at one point whose mother was answering the phone and asking what type of insurance they had, and then just freaking hang up on people if they had the wrong insurance. Or, you know what? It sounds weird, but does the person answer and sound friendly? I mean, if I just got injured and someone picks up and I hate this and all they say is law firm, the hell, like, I don't even know if I called the right law firm at that point. But if I answer, someone, I'm not saying do this, but they're like, hey, it's a great day at FWM or whatever it may be, something more than just law firm, or check their phones, make sure that they're at least happy and empathetic. Don't put someone on hold who just told you their child just died and you need their help. I mean, there's so many steps to this that, just at that point, there's probably 20 ways you could lose all the attraction. And we go through that with people. They find it and then they go, they kind of explode and go off on a tangent and try to figure out where it went wrong there. But yeah, we hear that all the time.
And that, Chris Mullins is who comes to mind. Chris Mullins, inspect what you expect. I give her credit for that great line. Chris Mullins does, secret shopping, really, I would call it. And I've known her for years. She's done a great job for lawyers all over the place. I think it's Mullins Media Group, or just do a search for Chris Mullins if you need help with intake. And that's something that we'll recommend too. Matt is right. You need to listen to what your people are saying to that. You have spent all of this money, presumably, to generate this lead intake. And you need to make sure that the people that are responding are doing a great job and converting those leads into scheduled for you, qualifying them, whatever you're doing at that point. Also, what's important, and scroll down here on this list, because I think it's coming up. Yeah, the review. That's the very next thing. I'm glad that is exactly what I mean, because that's the other thing is if you have people that are rude, you will get a crappy review. You don't have the wiggle room these days. You've got to respond quickly. People demand immediate response, as you know, and you yourself do. For whatever you want these days. That's how we are. We are become way more demanding, way quicker. And if you don't respond, what's going to happen, Matt? They're going to shit on your parade.
Let me say a common thing I've seen working with attorneys when they're like, how do I get rid of this review? And sometimes you just can't do it. You get someone $1 million, more than they ever dreamed in a personal injury case, saving money, but they'll complain that you didn't answer their phone calls quick enough. And that could be a matter of you didn't set the expectations properly for what the response time and kind of engagement and how much you get with, time or connection with attorneys, or maybe you just sucked and you didn't respond well enough. But I hear that all the time. I see it. They got them all this money, but they complained that they didn't answer their calls. So a lot of stuff goes into the reviews that you do, more than just the strategy, is all the processes that lead up to it.
And then what do we got after reviews, man? Referrals. Once you get everything else worked out, then we talk about referrals, and then we get into that, and we've got homework laid out for what to do to increase your referrals. And we mean maybe they're attorney referrals, maybe they're client referrals, but referrals are the lifeblood of every business. Your referrals are where your best cases, clients, patients come from. Even us. We are a digital marketing company, but our best clients come from referrals. That's every business. It's true of you. And so it's important to make the most of your referral network. And we've got tons of ways to implement that and show how well it works. We can show you examples of other very successful network referral strategies. Print newsletter. So I just did a podcast of the queen of newsletters in my mind, who is the best. That's Kia Arian of Zen Graphics, and she's my very dear friend. I think that was just a couple of weeks ago that one was posted. But she does our newsletter, and Matt, what do we say about print newsletters?
Everybody should do them.
Yeah, there it is in a nutshell. Everyone should do them. We are a digital marketing company, internet company, but we have a print newsletter. It goes out every quarter. I wish I could get out a bit more. We're doing so much stuff, but my goal is to get it back to once a month. They're a lot of work, yeah. But if you want it to be done very professionally, beautifully, then we are just going to recommend Kia to you. Now, if you want it to be done in a more, I don't know, commercial way or less expensive, but just kind of done, Sean Buck at Newsletters Plus is a great outfit. I know that a lot of clients use him, and there's a lot of benefit to that. So that's another one I recommend if you're looking for that kind of approach. So those are the two areas. I don't go cheap on a print newsletter. Don't try to do it in a Google Doc and then send out like white paper stapled together. That just makes you look. So unless some of that is intentional for marketing, because in certain cases it is. You want to do something like that, but then social media. So Matt, I'm gonna put you on the spot again, but what is our kind of philosophy about social media?
I believe social media, Foster, social media should really be done by the attorneys themselves in office, right? Like social media displays your personality of your firm. We can't do that from afar. What I see with most people we coach is they write an article, they just post, hey, posted this article. That is not your personality. Would you share that with somebody? They're like, no, I would never share some random article about this silly thing. Now, some people do. It's not to say you never add that, but social media is really about your firm's personality. And it is hard to get some faraway company to do that for you. But it's the sprinkle and something to think about with social media moving forward with Google. Brand is getting more and more important. And so the more you're on social media, the more your brand is mentioned, the more links and videos and information you put out there, that is becoming a bigger part of SEO. And so it kind of handles both. But one last thing, do at least one good before you try to get on all of them. If you're not doing Facebook well, don't try to be on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, all these. I see it all the time. If you do Facebook, great. Do that, great. Then move on to other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Matt that social media should be done by you individually. Now, at the least, you should have the content that you're posting to your website, post to social media. There's ways that can be automatically done with the social media tool and things like that. And I know that works. That's like the least. So it's really, but to make the most of social media for even us, because we have Renee that posts to our social media accounts all over, as Foster Ed Marketing. And we have clients that post as the firm, but that only goes so far. It's really when you share this personally to your list of friends and family that it gets a lot of attention. Because there's not a whole lot of people flocking to your firm social media to see what happened at the firm today. Some of that stuff that, the purpose of that is to, I mean, it's not that it's not important. It's not that people won't find you that way, but you can I guess my point is that got to at least do that, but then you can bolster it significantly by being you on top of it and sharing it to your own list and sharing and having your employees do that as well. I think that's what Matt was saying too.
Yeah.
Right,
Always think, what would you share? What would you engage with?
Yeah.
And when you think about that before you post it, is not to say everything has to be perfect and super wonderful and magical and engaging, but the majority of it should be, which a lot of times it is not.
I think it should all be magical.
Yeah, all of it.
It's all magical. Okay, community. speaking of magical, this is like great stuff. Like to get to be able to get to the time to participate in community events. We have tons of examples of clients that have been very successful here that we will show and give you strategies on how to do your community. So what are we in month 9? We're at the end of the game here, right? We're at the end of the 12-month plan. Notice what's very last, which is I have voice crack.
We'll edit that out.
53-year-old man, voice crack, soon to be 54, still going through puberty. Okay, pay-per-click advertising is last on the list for a reason. You can do pay-per-click anytime. A lot of people, it's like the immediate go-to. Pay-per-click we like to use for purpose and to fill in holes and blanks. It's not like we hate it, but we only like to use it in an emergency. I turn it off and on depending upon what I'm doing campaign-wise, and that's how all people should be. They should just not let this go on endlessly without any real management or is it working? And by the way, every month, we're going to be looking at lead scoring and saying, what is working? What is bringing in the cases? What is bringing in the clients? What is bringing in the patients? What content is it? What calls to action? What ads? If you do have pay-per-click, what are the keywords that are bringing it in? These are all the things that you should be constantly asking all the time. And we're going to help you ask these questions, because why put good money after bad? You know, if you're pay-per-click, but if you're spending $5,000 a month on pay-per-click, but you're not getting $5,000 worth of cases, or you're overspending and you're just getting a bunch of bad calls, which we hear all the time, don't we, Matt? We hear all the time.
Yeah, well, just think about the kind of clients, or not to say everyone who clicks on it, but the kind of person who just types in a phrase, usually a short search, car accident, estate planning, wills, and they click on the very first thing at the top. Don't do any research, just call and say, I want an appointment. Are those really going to be the best types of clients? Now, yes, sometimes, of course. I mean, people wouldn't do it if it didn't work. Sometimes.
Right. It depends upon what you do, but yeah.
I always try to, make it more targeted and really work. And that, once again, we're about to get to measure, but it always goes back to that perfect client and what are your goals and what do you do? And, if you're a high volume company, yeah, you may need to do a bunch of PPC, but if you're, lower volume, more niched, and you want to, all your other practice areas are good and you want to niche off to brain injury, maybe we need to do PPC until the organic catches up, or some new mesh or some device goes wrong. You need to do it. So making it very strategic, because it is a drug. And once you start on it, if your business lives off of it, it will slowly kill you, because it never goes down. Like the cost of PPC has never decreased ever. And people just outbid each other. So.
Well, that's interesting that you said, because sometimes people can't spend their total budget amount. Like we have this kind of going on during, and that brings up a good point. Like why pay-per-click is last. So we have a client that we coach that has a pretty significant pay-per-click budget. And they are working with this other company. So I can't really say anything. I'm not going to say anything. It's got this other kind, and if you guys hear this podcast, I'm talking about you. But you're working. They are working with this other pay-per-click company, and they've got a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. They cannot spend it.
Yeah.
Because COVID hit.
Yeah,
and
just not enough.
Not enough.
That's the one thing. Is it like 5% of people click on pay-per-click?
Yeah.
It's something real.
There's not enough inventory. There's not enough people clicking on.
Number one, organic is going to get way more than number. You don't have to be number one. Number two works too, but yeah.
It's not, and just like Matt said, 100%. It's not that you don't get something from it. It is one of the places that you should be. But you should not rely on it. A lot of people get sucked in and rely on pay-per-click alone for everything. And then when something like, a pandemic hits, and
Tom,
everybody stops.
How many people have we heard tell us that they're scared to stop doing PPC when we try to push them to grow their business kind of with a more future thought? They're terrified. They're like, but I give them this much money and I can pretty much, have a good idea what they're getting. And that fear just keeps them feeding the Google beast. So
Yeah,
it's a bad addiction to have. It's a bad addiction.
it is, but it has its place. But the point that we're trying to make here to you, everybody, is that the you want to build your base. By the way, even for pay-per-click, you have to have good content. So you can't escape it.
Yeah.
Good content you can't escape it. Better to have a full, diverse plan and marketing strategy in place where you have leads coming from multiple funnels, multiple sources, than just relying on one. And you're right, Matt, that brings us to our last thing, which is our measure, analyze, improve. And we've got this last, don't do it until the end of the year, but that's not really it. It's just, you always want to be doing this, but certainly at the end of the year, you want to go, and we're going to help you do this. Because this is the fourth quarter, we've had 4 report card periods. So by the way, at the end of each one of these, we're going to be given a report card on you and what you could be doing better, just like you get or your kids get at school. And so, because we are in the business of coaching you to be better, we actually we care about it, and we want you to be successful. We love it. Matt and I love it when our guys are successful and they feel that, and most of them are, as long as they understand what it takes. And we're happy to go down this with our clients, and we look forward to working with you guys. So Matt, do you have anything that you want to?
My thing about measure, analyze, and improve, I'd say, is really we do it quarterly, every 3 months. And at the end of the year, like Tom was saying, we'll have a report card. This end of the year will almost be going back to that perfect client and what are your goals, business goals, all of that type of information. And so this at the very end, so it's quarterly, and then we do it at Foster. We all sit around, big round table, and say, all right, where are we at? Where are we going? What are we doing? And you may find at the end of that year that what you thought was your perfect client, when you really measure it up and talk about how they interact with your staff and all the different things that go into what a perfect client is, not just money, but do you like to work with them? We may have to start at a completely different client to go after, or to message for, or get rid of things that are bringing in the bad types of clients.
Yeah. So, I've got this list of questions that Renee prepared for the podcast that I just happened to pull up right this minute. That's how, thank you, Renee. But I think that we covered them, but I want to just real quick, what do you think makes FWM's coaching program so effective?
For me, the biggest thing, it's the duo kind of me and you. I'm kind of more technical, SEO, done the work, multiple businesses doing in different industries. You started this before Google was even Google. So when they meet with us, it's, I can help with so much of the technical side, the SEO, the execution with you. They get the strategist. And I don't know how it is, but a lot of people pay a lot of money to be in mastermind groups with guys like you, Tom. And they get it as a part of basic DSS with us, because we actually give a shit about what you do. We really actually care whether your business succeeds. Nothing is better than someone being like, man, you guys have changed my life. I'm buying new offices, I'm getting houses, I'm hiring people.
Yeah.
That to us is, we're selfish. It's rewarding to us. Okay. Let's just go ahead and say it. We enjoy your success. And between the two of us, you get a really diverse set of information, knowledge, and experience.
And I think that answered the next question, which is what makes our coaching program different than others? Because
2 for 1.
what's different about us is we probably, I'm not saying other people don't care, but I just think that we probably put in more than others in terms of coaching programs, I would say. But so let's send a message out for the clients that are not participating in coaching, and why should they participate in the coaching program that's available to them. And this could go back to a message to clients that have been with us for years and years that have never participated. So what should the message be to them?
Well, I'd come back at least to check in. I mean, you may be doing everything all right. We may get on the call and be like, you're squared away. It's all good. Congratulations, and get a little bit of advice and go. Or, we can find someone that they think it's doing good. We discover it's not, and things aren't working, and we can end up saving them money and making them more by fixing those things. But that is kind of the part of the coaching program. Is it's up to you what you want to do, whether you just want to check in, whether you want coaching. You're already paying for it, so you might as well take advantage of the program.
That's right. And everybody that gets in the coaching program will get something special. It might be a fancy t-shirt. It might be something a little more fancy. Matt Tate has not even seen these yet. Matthew.
That's very rude. Very rude of you.
So, Matt, you got to come over and get some of these brand
Those
new
are rocks glasses?
Beautiful.
Oh,
right? Nice little whiskey rocks glasses. So that's our new thing. And anyway, always love to show off our new swag. Matt, you can stop sharing your screen. I think that's good. Anybody that wants to get that, there's the link down below to get that, our growth plan. And that's pretty much, and then there's a syllabus that we also have, or agenda, or whatever schedule of events to keep us going down the track. We'd love to work with you. Matt, thank you so much. Anything else you want to tell anybody?
I love working at FWM, and appreciate everyone who decides to spend their time with us. I mean, a business person giving us up an hour a day, we don't take that lightly, and just appreciate the trust that comes in that. Yeah, very good. Thanks for saying that. All right, everybody. Let us know if you'd like to get involved in the coaching program, or whatever. If you have any questions about anything, if you need to get an analysis done or whatever, we're here to help you out. So whatever questions you might have. It has been Tom Foster and my buddy, Coach Tate, Matt Tate, on the World of Marketing. Everybody stay safe. And have a wonderful afternoon.